think what we've done is hyperscaled this cycle, destroyed all of the excess gains that were possible, and that's hopefully the end of a lot of this. They will always keep looking for the 50x, even though however often we tell them, listen, there's no such thing as consistent 50x returns. Really, if you're owning Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Sui, whatever, you'll do fine.
The crypto landscape is shifting at breakneck speed, and Raoul Pal is here to break it all down. From Bitcoin's price action and Ethereum's evolving ecosystem to Solana's rise and the explosion of real-world asset tokenization, Raoul dives deep into the forces shaping the next phase of crypto adoption. He dissects the meme coin frenzy, the growing role of AI-driven financial systems, and how global liquidity cycles are driving speculation like never before. Are we at the end of the meme coin boom? Will tokenized assets revolutionize traditional markets? And is Ethereum's strategy setting it up for long-term dominance? Don't miss Raoul's expert insights on where crypto is heading next. Hit that subscribe button for more in-depth analysis.
Argentina and Javier Milei, of course, got involved in a little bit of a meme coin drama. First of all, what was your first thought of this? Obviously, this rides on Solana. People are, somewhat almost getting into hate rage with what's happening on Solana in general. What's your opinion?
I kind of knew this one was coming. We'd heard rumors about it. Dave Portnoy as well. It's just been this endless cycle of people who are trying to capitalize in on this. Okay, fine. The issue being is that everybody's getting destroyed by this. Yeah. So if we go back to meme coins 9 months ago, you could make some money. They would go from a low market cap and then maybe would they go to $1 billion. And people had a real chance. And then more and more issuance came and more kind of insiders were part of it. And it just became this endless slew of new issuance of which the people would get out after day 5 and then day 3 and then day 2 and then hour 5 and then hour 2 and then hour 1 and then 30 seconds after launch. So they've got faster and faster and faster and faster and more of them, that what we've done is erode all the opportunity out of the whole thing. And maybe that's the good thing. Maybe we've actually finally reached the bottom of this. And some memes will survive because memes survive all of humanity. So Doge has lasted since 2013. Right. So some stuff will survive, but I think what we've done is hyperscaled this cycle, destroyed all of the excess gains that were possible, and that's hopefully the end of a lot of this. And we can then have a cleaner market.
Yeah. Do you think, Raoul, that people will kind of reset and look at, more of the blue chip altcoin group that mostly take up and have taken up previous bull runs in the past? If you look at the Solanas of the world, even Cardano, Avalanche, even if you look into scenarios like what we're seeing with Sui starting to make a move in this run, do you think that's what people will go back to, or do you think they are still looking for new stuff?
I think the difficult thing is most of these people are not us. So these are younger people with no chance of buying a property, who are seeing nothing but sort of a bleak financial future for themselves. So it's become this kind of financial nihilism, or to put it in a more positive term, it's a more speculative economy because there are opportunities there and they need the opportunities to leverage. Mm-hmm. So they will always keep looking for the 50x, even though however often we tell them, listen, there's no such thing as consistent 50x returns. Really, if you're owning Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Sui, whatever, you'll do fine. But that's not good enough for them. To have another 5 or 10x from there is not good enough for them. So they are looking for something. But I think you're right. The sense is that they will stop looking under this particular pile. Yes, they might find memes, whether it's Pepe or whether it's Doge or whatever, that survives and does well. But I'm not entirely convinced that meme coins will be the great attraction any longer.
This was kind of a scenario that has been brewing, I think, for a while. We've obviously seen the acceleration of it. Web3 gaming could have been compared to it in the previous run. We saw a lot of that around metaverse and the launch of that, but not near the kind of scenario that's played out in terms of coin creation, which is the big problem that everybody's talking about right now.
Although we did see it, to be fair, Paul, we saw it in NFTs.
Well, that's a
right?
good point. Yeah, yeah.
We had this market of like high-end art that did really well, then the PFPs, and then there was millions of PFPs,
Yeah.
and the whole lot went to zero. And by the second cycle, we can see that punks retain value and Bored Apes retain value and Pudgy Penguins, but a whole bunch of them don't. So I think it's the right process. The creative destruction cycle in crypto is very fast and very brutal, and that's maybe a feature,
It's a
benefit.
feature, not a bug.
That's right. It's a feature, not a bug. I think probably.
Yeah. You've got a couple other things brewing right now. Avalanche has now flipped Solana in terms of tokenized real-world assets. This is including stablecoins on the ranking right there, and also the number of projects in RWAs that they've locked into. We've got some news breaking maybe in the next few days that Avalanche has done some more things around real-world assets. But when you look at RWAs in general and the potential for what they can mean to the market, how big are they in comparison to, maybe you look at gaming in the last run, or even to a certain extent DePIN and what we've seen around gaming in general? Is this an important category for you?
So it is a category. So how we create network value is either by number of active users, or it's also the total value transacted on a particular chain. That combination explains the value of these networks. So Bitcoin has big size transactions and a lot of users, which is why it's the most valuable. ETH has smaller size but lots of users, and it all flows from that. So real world assets outside of stablecoins tend to be larger single transactions. If you're going to take a slice of a bond, or credit or something like that, it tends to be you stick in $100 million because you're a financial institution, and you don't do any more than that. So it's a high value, but only one or a few nodes in the network are using it. So yes, they're good, but they're not everything. So they add value. Gaming, on the other hand, much smaller values, gigantic volume size. So there is a balance between all of this. Now, over time, we will see the entire financial system go onto blockchain rails anyway. So it's not just the tokenization of real world assets, more so the hyper efficiency of putting equities, all bonds, everything on chain as an instant settlement system, proof of ownership, custody. You get rid of so many middlemen. So that's coming, and those markets are trillions upon trillions of dollars. So yeah, it is important. Gaming's important from another perspective, because that's one of the large communities of Web 2, social media being one, gaming being another, music being another, sports being another, that will eventually migrate across to this world. And all of those come with like 1 billion users plus.
Yeah.
I mean, a big game can have 1 billion users. A big pop star has 1 billion fans. A big sports team has 1 billion fans. So these are very big things.
So if you're looking at RWAs just in general, especially around the stance of Solana and Avalanche, are you picking one of those to be maybe one of the market leaders?
No, I mean, I know John Woo from Avalanche well. John's come out of the traditional finance space, the hedge fund space, like myself. They're very well positioned in real world assets. They've been working on this for a long time. But we've already seen Solana do some. ETH will obviously do a lot because it's kind of the proven one here. We know that Sui has been working with Franklin Templeton. So I think it'll get spread across. I actually think the real world asset majority will be in the EVM system, just because you don't get fired for it. You're not taking a risk. It's like having Microsoft go into any bank, any asset management firm. It's all Microsoft and not Apple. And the reason being, that's the easy decision to make. So Avalanche, I think, will continue to do this. They've got the other side of it as well, because they've got gaming as well. So they had the off the grid game, which is huge, which I think is very important.
Raoul, what do you make of the changes with Ethereum? You look at the gas right now, average gas price, probably the lowest, I think, maybe in a very, very long time. And you look at Vitalik speed running a lot of development, to try to lower gas in general. What do you make of this? Is it the right timing for Ethereum, especially in the market conditions as we are now?
So my view is Ethereum have overbuilt block space for current demand. So we've had layer 2s, we've cheapened the layer 1, so it's not accruing so much. Now, let's go to a forward for a world where 3 billion people are using blockchain and EVM's capturing a large share, right? It's now scaling massively because of layer 2s.
Yeah.
It's then generating enough income on the layer 1 that you're generating revenues across. We're just not there yet. So we can argue all day about the technicalities of what Vitalik and the Ethereum Foundation are doing. The reality is they're building something that's going to be massively scalable in due course, and differently so than some of the others like Solana. So while it feels that ETH is struggling, it's non-performant, it's not great, my guess is by the time the financial system steps in and starts building, and they start using layer 2s to build, and we start accruing value in the layer 1s using these reduced gas fees but much higher volumes because they're coming through from the layer 2s, I think it'll all work out fine.
And you look at, where ETH is right now. I know many people would probably say, well, they were a little bit late to the AI game, but I was looking at one of their YouTubes. This is in reference, I'll kind of zoom in on this for you. This is Agentic Ethereum, and these are all the different projects that have rolled out on this. I know your position on AI agents is a little bit maybe contrarian. How would you position that if you look at it on ETH? Would you still say a little less opportunity or a lot opportunity in the way of Ethereum?
So in the short term, what has been launched is basically testing of ideas and really ChatGPT wrappers plus rewrapped Telegram bots. Not that interesting. But obviously, Brian Armstrong was out on the tape again talking about this today, agents are going to use crypto payment rails. You need to pay an agent. If you think of an agent like somebody on Fiverr you go to make a deck for you or whatever it is, right? You have to pay them for their time. And including their time as their profit margin for their light and rent and living and stuff like that. With agents, you're going to pay for the compute and you're going to pay for the electricity.
Yeah.
And then maybe a profit margin if it's a private agent. So that really can only get done in crypto rails, because if you look at the speed of how ChatGPT does these things or any of these AIs, it's instantaneously. They'll get that, we'll see it coming out soon where we will be using 10, 20, 30 different agents to do a simple task like booking an airline ticket, right? That actually has a lot of stops and booking your Uber to the airport, all of that stuff. So there'll be payments for all of this. I think EVM will do fine for payments on this stuff, on a layer 2 or something, because it needs to be performant. It needs to be fast, cheap. So yes, look, the longer term, this is a very, very, very big deal. There's only 8 billion humans, there's infinite AIs. And infinite AIs using infinite blockchain wallets equals, infinite market cap of crypto over time.